Hopefully we get as many viewers as we did yesterday.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the United States and the Kingdoms of the Western World. That's a very long name. We got to maybe change the name to a shorter name. Yeah.
Maybe.
Anyway, listen up, guys. Again, if you're watching this in the future, what you should do is skip the first 5 minutes. Because the first 5 minutes, as always, we use it to gather our thoughts and prayers. No, I'm kidding. We just use it to prepare. For now, Andrew, please introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Andrew. I'm a mod on the Discord server and a personal friend of Mr. Dr. Ali here. Yeah, here to talk politics and economics and whatnot.
Exactly. And a possible future lover. We don't want to answer that one.
Yeah.
That one's a joke. Okay. Anyway, guys. So again, if you watch this future, you should skip the first 5 minutes. That is a long name. You know what else is long? My love for Jesus. Very long. Anyway, Mackenzie's here. Okay, listen up. Like I said, we need like a few minutes to get prepared. Mackenzie, I'm making you a moderator on the YouTube. Don't forget our free speech rules. Again, if someone's just saying bad words, don't ban them. But obviously, if they're like spamming and stuff, ban them or put them in a timeout.
Or being radical, racist people.
Exactly. Fair enough. Now, as always, go to your phone and like view the stream on your phone as well. And like mute it, just so like, you know, we have that little extra viewer.
Oh yeah, let me get that set up actually. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, you know, take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be right back as well. Yeah. Like I said, the first 5 minutes. Oh no, like I said, you miss it. See, the first 5 minutes, we always spend the first 5 minutes just preparing it. So the first 5 minutes, I tell everybody, if you're viewing this when it's not live, you got to just skip the first 5 minutes anyway. Because we're just preparing for the stream anyway. We'll go back.
Where did I put it? Oh, okay, it's right there. we know you know that. We trust you. Let's see. I gotta pull this up on my YouTube. All right. Yo, what's up, dude? Or girl, dude or girl. I don't know, but Death Bob 13 here. How are you doing? Let me actually make sure I join that. Okay, yeah, we're good. I'll get 5. Okay. Hopefully my phone will last the whole live stream. It might die. We'll see. Oh, fuck. Oh, we're at 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let's get this show on the road.
Let's get the... Yes, sir. Anyway. I can find my glasses. Okay, found it.
There you go.
Andrew, are you viewing it on a phone or
I am,
separate?
yes. I am on the phone, yeah. Hopefully my phone lasts the whole stream. Otherwise, it might die. Hopefully not, but we'll see.
Well, then hopefully it doesn't.
Did you put the link to the to your YouTube in the welcome?
No, I did not. You can do that.
Okay.
Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen, for the 50th time. We have these live streams every week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are always active on our Discord server. So please join our server. We're almost level 3, actually. How many boosts do we need?
We have about 190 right now in terms of members, but...
Okay. Andrew.
Yes. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just posting the link. Hold on 1 second.
No, don't worry about that. I already posted that.
Oh, you got it on the welcome chat?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. If anyone was a fan of our previous live streams, we used to follow the coronavirus numbers, but after lots of weeks in a row, it ended up just being repetitive. So here's the thing that we're going to do. I'm going to do the coronavirus numbers once a month. And in fact, I'm going to do it right now. And we're going to do it very briefly because it ends up being very repetitive. Now, here's the global numbers. Now, again, we're not going to look at pure death numbers. We're going to do deaths in proportion to their population. Because one thing the mainstream media does very wrongly is just like, oh, look, this country has a lot of deaths. It must be bad. Well, don't forget, America's the 3rd most populated country in the whole world. Obviously, they're going to have a lot of deaths. But let's do in proportion to their population. Andrew, can you read me the top 7?
You got San Marino with 42 deaths. You got Peru with 33,223.
Don't worry about the total numbers. Just tell me the order of the...
No,
these are the worst countries in proportion.
Well, this is... You have the list backwards. Like
No, I don't. This is literally in proportion deaths per 1 million. So
I see it. Yeah. Okay, so San Marino with 1,237, Peru with 1,004, Belgium with 177, Andorra, which is a country in Africa, with 34,877. That's pretty high, actually.
No. Andorra's death per million is 712.
Oh, I was looking at, yeah, you're right. I was looking at the wrong
no, that's why I said ignore the number. Just tell me the order of the countries. Forget about the number.
San Marino, Peru, Belgium, Andorra, Bolivia, Brazil, and Spain.
Good. Afterwards, we have Chile, Ecuador. Now, USA. USA is 10th, and that isn't good, but it's not the worst country. So the idiots in the mainstream media who's saying to us, again, in proportion to the population. And that's also assuming that countries like Iran and China are telling the truth, which is doubtful.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
But yeah, now the countries that we mainly care about, USA is 10th, UK is 12th, My home country of Iran is 25th. I don't even believe my home country, to be honest. Keep going down. Israel's 39.
You missed Canada.
Oh, did we really?
Yeah, it was up there. Go down a little bit. Hold on.
Oh yeah, 34th.
Yeah.
Good for Canada. If we're gonna keep going, let's just actually strip Australia. Australia is 111. Australia's doing really good. Although to be fair, they're far from the rest of the world.
New Zealand's doing even better, actually.
But yeah, New Zealand's literally in a small island in like literally the corner of the universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
So yeah. Now anyway, to zoom in, so obviously if you're anywhere in the top 10, it's not good. But you have to understand again, divided by the population. For example, right now, San Marino in Peru, out of every 1 million people in that country, that that's in the country, 1,200 of them die. That's a bad. Like only 2 countries, it's more than 1,000. While countries like America, out of 1 million is 647 people die, which again isn't good, but again, it's way better than so many other countries.
Now, Alex, is this per week or is this per the deaths per 1 million? Is that per week or is that per total?
Of all time.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So
I wasn't sure how Worldometer did their stat.
Actually, the funny thing is, you asking that question is really good because somebody in the audience might have the same question, but they didn't want to ask. So this is actually a good little back and forth thing we got going. Let's go to America. America. Again, let's not look at the most populated states. So let's go deaths per 1 million. Can you read me the top 10 worst states in the country?
I can. You have number 1 at New Jersey, 2 is New York, Massachusetts, then Connecticut, 5th is Louisiana, then Rhode Island, Mississippi, District of Columbia, Arizona, and I can't tell if that's a 10 or a 13.
Illinois. No, that's Illinois, yeah.
Illinois, yeah.
Okay, first of all, I'm sorry if any of you are in those states. You are literally in the worst states in the country. There's no excuse for this. This is literally in proportion to the population, and these are the worst states. They have the most deaths per 1 million.
Can we see where Indiana is real quick?
You know what? Is your governor Republican or Democrat?
He's Republican.
Oh, then let's actually look at the top 10 best states. Maybe you'll be there then.
Yeah.
Okay, these are the top 10 best states. Please read them.
Yeah, we're not in there. Alaska, which is where I'm from originally.
Okay. To be fair, Alaska is a little bit got an advantage, but okay.
Let's Wyoming, Vermont, Maine, Hawaii, Oregon, Utah, Montana, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. That's funny, actually, because with Wisconsin, the media is hyping that up in that Wisconsin is like the next big super spreader state, but they're actually in the top 10 best states by death right now.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with the media is that okay, see, this is the thing. Hey, what's up, Cookie? By the way, guys, our Discord had a little bit of an issue. So you guys, in the comments of the actual video, you can rejoin our server. We had to maximize our security. So right now, our server does require you to have your phone number connected to your account, but it's like it's maximum security. So the good news is we're never going to be attacked again. But yeah, some of you may have been kicked from our server. So yeah, if you check the comments, if you refresh the live, actually it's already in the comments of the live stream as well. You could join our server. You really should. Anyway, so sorry. The problem with the media is it's like numbers. It's true that numbers can't be faked because numbers are just numbers. You can't argue or have a liberal or conservative or libertarian view of numbers. But the thing about numbers is that you could still use the truth to your advantage. So, for example, if you want to make a state look bad, you don't do in proportion to the population. You just look at pure death, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, look at these states! They're so bad because they have so many deaths."
That's exactly what they did with my state. Actually, I live in Indiana, but they were reporting on the Midwest, and they did this with Wisconsin too. Actually, where they're like Wisconsin and Indiana, they're reporting record number of cases. Yet Wisconsin is in the top 10 in terms of deaths. Indiana is probably in the top 25, I would imagine. And And like we're actually doing pretty well with COVID, but the media is painting it like, oh, we're getting record numbers when we had low numbers to start with, and now our numbers rose a little bit, and now they're saying, oh, this is like the worst outbreak ever, right, in these states, when it's really not true.
No, exactly. And the funny thing is, this website is not really a right-wing or left-wing website.
It's
you
just
can
stats.
You can literally use the options at the top of this website to actually manipulate it to your view. Like here, let me do this. I could do new deaths and just click on this. New deaths. I would say, oh my God, look, Florida's the worst state in the country. They have 90 new deaths. But then if I do total, let's see, if I do total deaths, I'd be like, oh my God, New York is the worst state in the country, and so is Texas. Or if I want to do total cases, California is the worst. Like, I could literally use these numbers just to make any state look bad. I press total cases, California looks bad. I press new cases, Michigan looks bad. I press total deaths, New York looks bad. New deaths, Florida looks bad. So it's like I could use these numbers just to make any state look bad. That's the weird thing about, and that's the thing. I'm not faking anything. These are pure numbers. I'm not manipulating the numbers. If anyone actually manipulates numbers, those people should actually be charged. That's not a free speech issue. Manipulating data is not free speech. Okay, I'm sorry. That should be punished. So just you would agree with that, wouldn't you, Andrew?
I would.
Good, because we take free speech seriously. And so now that's why the best and most unfair thing, and Andrew, tell me if you disagree, is literally if we do deaths per 1 million. That's like, it doesn't depend on which state is most populated.
No, I think that's the most important metric.
Amen. Me too. I'm like, because you're looking at deaths, because this isn't like people with, mild symptoms. Do we count those, or high symptoms? No, this is just deaths. You either you're dead or you're alive. That's it. So it's a very objective standard, and it doesn't depend on big states or small states. It's the best metric, and we've been doing the same thing on the server for the past 6 months. Deaths per 1 million. It's objective, and it's fair because it's the proportion. So in death 1 million, these are the worst states in country, and if you look at their governor, you're going to notice a pattern. New Jersey, New York, Democrat.
Well, the top 4 are all Democrat. Top 5, does Louisiana have a Democrat governor?
I am so glad you asked. It is actually, it is a Democratic governor.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, we can do
I'd be surprised if Mississippi has Democrat governor.
The funny thing is, look, we've done this before, and we're going to do this again. We're going to be purely super duper objective. Right. We have the cases, we have the numbers, no lies, nothing. So New York and New Jersey are already Democrat. Yeah. Let's look at Massachusetts. Massachusetts Republican. So the third worst state is actually Republican. Then number 4 is Connecticut.
They have Democrat. Yeah, they do.
I can't find Connecticut. Oh yeah, that's Democrat. Okay, actually, can you keep track of the numbers? So it's so far 3 for Democrats, 1 for Republican. Can you keep that number?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, and then Louisiana, Louisa. Louisiana is Democratic. That's another for Democrat. And then Rhode Island, that's Democratic.
Of course.
Of course. Mississippi, that's Republican. Okay, how many we have for Republicans so far?
2, and we have 5. Yeah.
Okay, and then DC isn't really a state, but we'll still whoever is the district mayor is Democratic.
Okay. 6.
Arizona is Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And then Illinois is Democratic.
So we have 7-3 Democratic to Republican.
Okay. So and then Michigan, because we did DC, but yeah, Michigan is also Democratic.
Yes.
So we did 11. So 8-3.
8-3. Yeah.
And okay, this is the thing about this is why I love studying psychology, is because psychology has actually proven this before. Generally speaking, people who are more right-wing tend to be more tougher when it comes to national emergencies like war or disease. So I'm not that surprised that we have more more Democrats in the bad side, because they tend to not be good at handling emergencies.
And they also spend a lot more money handling those emergencies than Republicans.
Exactly. Oh, that too as well. That's why, again, no, the left tends to be good at like fun and creativity and even outside the box thinking, so solving solutions. But when it comes to emergencies, practicality, hard work, that's a right-wing thing to deal with the toughness, the war, the disease. And I'm not surprised. That's why we have 8 of the worst states are run by Democratic governor. Now let's look at the best states. So let's look at death per in the best state. Okay, so the top 10. So Alaska is probably Republican.
Alaska's Republican.
Okay, and so that's one for. Okay, so in the best states, let's actually just keep track of this. Vermont, Republican. Really? Governor of Vermont is Republican.
I'm surprised at that.
I know. Good job, Vermont. And then let me see. Wyoming.
Probably Republican, I would imagine.
It's actually fun to give. It is Republican. Okay. So far, 3 of the best states are Republican. Let's see. Maine.
Maine is Democrat for sure.
Maine is Democrat. Good job.
Yeah.
And then Hawaii is probably Democrat.
Yep.
Okay. While we're being fair, though, if we're criticizing Alaska for being easy, Hawaii should also be easy. Come on, you're away from the country. You know what I mean? You're not gonna.
That's
it's true. It's a virus, and you're like in the middle of the ocean. So, anyway, we'll still count that. How many? Is that the first Democrat?
No, it's 3-2. 3-2.
It is 3-2. Okay, it's actually more even than I thought in the best states. Okay,
Oregon's Democrat for sure.
Let's see. Oregon, it is Democrat. So 3-3.
3-3. Utah,
Republican.
Yep. 4-3. Montana,
Democrat.
Oh, really? I was going to say Republican, but
I know. I thought so too. Okay, so 4-4. West Virginia, Republican.
Okay, 5-4.
And
Wisconsin is Evers, who's Democrat. So it's even. 5-5.
Okay, so in the best states. Okay.
Stream link.
This is interesting.
Hold on 1 second. There's a guy talking in Discord.
Oh yeah, no, just tell them to join the. Just tell them to join the.
No. Go to welcome chat and click the stream link, and you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, and also just do exit. Yeah, we're doing that. Okay, dude. Whenever stuff like this happens, you should maybe mute yourself. But this is officially our first episode, and that's fine. Okay, so listen, it's 5-5. So in the worst states, we are 8 of the worst states are Democratic run.
It's actually 7 because you went 11 and it was Democrats. So
because I wanted just to DC.
Okay, if you don't count DC, then yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, in the best states, it's even. So let's look at number 11 just to break the tie. Number 11. The tiebreaker.
Republican for sure.
Oh, Kansas is probably Republican. Kansas, Arkansas. No!
Really? Democrat?
Kansas is Democrat. Damn. Okay. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So in the best states, it is a clear winner. 8 of the worst states are Democrat, 3, and then 3 of the Republican.
7 of the worst states. Well, actually,
including DC, it's 8. Now, in terms of the best states, it's actually 5 and 5. But if you want to break the tie, it would actually be Democrats. So the best states. Now, this is interesting. This is the first week because we did this in the last 6 months, and even the best states, it always had more Republicans. But now, the best states are pretty much I guess Democrats win by 1. If we want to keep going, Nebraska would make it. Nebraska would make it 6-6. Oklahoma would make it 7-6. Yeah. So if we keep trying to break the tie, it would go back and forth. But interesting. So the worst states are Democratic. I'm sorry to say. I'm actually not too sorry because I kind of would have predicted this.
Well, the worst states are, but the best states are also. So I feel like it just comes to individual policy, though.
No. The best states were even, though. Best states were 5-5, and then when we went to number 11, it broke the tie.
Yeah,
it was 5-5, and then number 11 broke. But the worst states, it was a clear destruction. It was a clear win. So that's why I said the best states. I would even say it's even. Call me biased, but it's like it was even until we tried to just purposely break the tie. We didn't have to do that for the worst states.
All right.
Now here's the thing. Just out of random curiosity, though, are these the only two parties? There was no. Okay.
I don't think there's a libertarian governor of any state right now, actually.
No, you're right. Okay, yeah, no, because in the state there's 26 states are run by Republican, 24 states run by Democrats.
Yeah.
But no, out of the territories, I believe there's one new progressive.
Actually, in our state, the libertarian, because the governor elections are coming up too, right? And the governor of, or he's trying to be the governor of Indiana, he's actually only like 6 or 7 points behind in the polls of the Republican. So we could very well elect a libertarian governor.
That's good. That's good. Although, to be honest, based on my knowledge of psychology, what they basically found was okay. Wait, Cena wants to join the stream. Cena.
Okay.
Yo, how's it going, boys?
We're good. We're good. Cena, you got to make sure you're viewing the stream on your YouTube. Just like mute it, just so we have the view.
Like go on your phone.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, just go on your phone or something. Exactly. Anyway, so okay, based on my basic knowledge of psychopolitics. Psychopolitics. I was trying to combine psychology and politics. The basic premise is that so the left is more creative but lazy. The right is less creative but more hardworking. That's the basic premise.
Right.
But the most fascinating thing about libertarians is libertarians are actually both creative and hardworking. Libertarians are like the most fascinating of the creatures.
They are, yes.
So, but here's the issue, though. There's no doubt in my mind that Republicans and right wingers are better at handling crisis than Democrats or any left wing. And in fact, we pretty much proved that the worst states were by Democrats. But when it comes to finding solutions, it is generally it takes a more creative mindset to find solutions to problems. So this is why the importance of free speech comes in. That's why you need all viewpoints in the system. That's what produces the best result. If you go purely Soviet style, you end up having a destructive tyrannical government. Or if you go purely fascist style, again, you end up having a destructive tyrannical government. That's why you need all viewpoints to produce the best results and push our society to the best possible route. And that's why you should stop calling people Nazis who disagree with you. The issue is, so the best solution is having all viewpoints. But okay, do you think if libertarians were already a governor, you think they would be one of the best states or the worst states or just average?
Oh, I think they'd be one of the best states for sure.
Really? Because remember, I said the right is better at handling crisis. The left is better at being creative. What would the libertarian? Libertarians technically both. Libertarians are actually creative and hardworking. You think they would handle a crisis like this? You don't think they would be more scared of like, oh, I don't want to remove people's personal freedom?
Well, you can handle a crisis and preserve personal freedom at the same time.
I agree. That's what something Republicans did.
It's not like they're either ors, right? They're not mutually exclusive. You can do both.
You think a libertarian would have closed the borders the first?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for
okay,
sure.
Good. Because that was one of Trump's mistakes. It's funny, people criticize Trump. I'm like, yeah, Trump did. He should have closed the borders way earlier. But it's like
January.
He should have, yeah. He did it in February. So at least it wasn't so late. But here's the issue: is I agree that is a criticism of President Trump, but guess what? Biden called him a racist xenophobe when he did that. So it's like, if Biden was president, you think he would have closed it in February? I think he would have closed it in June. I think Biden would have waited way too long.
Oh, and he would have wasted a shit ton of money doing it.
Oh, I agree. There's something weird about Democrats and money spending. Like, listen, it's not. like they say you got to spend money to make money. That is true. You know, you're not supposed to be stingy with your money. You should spend money to make money, but like
but it's not true for foreign policy and government decision making.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, how much of all these money, giving free money to charities, how much of that do you expect that's going to help the country? It's like how much is funding some terrorist group in Mujahideen? Don't you think they're going to come back one day and attack America? You know what I mean? It's like, you gotta be careful.
Well, and this is a big reason I'm a libertarian, right? Because anytime that you do something through the private market, it's more efficient, it's higher quality, and it's cheaper. When government does it, it's expensive, it's low quality, and it's not very efficient, which is why a private company will always produce a better product than a government will. Always. Pretty much always. That's
well, see, this is the issue. So what?
I said that's one of the reasons why I'm libertarian, because the libertarians could have handled this crisis effectively, swiftly, and they could have done it much cheaper.
You know, I would agree with you, but one of my issues with libertarians is that because you guys are all so diverse in your viewpoints, there's some libertarians that I don't want to call could be a libertarian, but like, come on, he would have said, oh, he would have disbanded the FDA in the middle of this crisis. I'm like, what? It's like, I get it. Yeah. Cut a lot of government programs. I agree with you. Andrew agrees with you, but in the middle of a crisis, like,
I want to cut, like, I agree with Cudway on cutting the FDA. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But not in the middle of a pandemic.
It's like, you got to recognize the situation. You can't do one solution for every different, like, if we're in the middle of a war or pandemic, you got to change your view. That's actually the thing about Cody. I love him and respect him, and I actually want to bring him into a future live stream again. But like, he's too stubborn, and I respect stubbornness because it shows character and strength. But he's too stubborn. It's like his solution doesn't work for every single problem in the world. It's like I bet you if Cody went to Iran, he'd be like, you know what, guys, we should free our economy. You know, that's going to solve a problem. I'm like, no, how about we stop killing our citizens and having political prisoners? I mean, freeing the economy would help Iran, but that's not our biggest issue. You know what I mean? You don't just, his solutions are always just like, he uses the same solution for every problem. That's the issue with him.
Yeah.
That's so that's my worry about some libertarians. I feel like libertarians, some of them would have just said, "Oh, we're in the middle of a pandemic, let's just cut the FDA." I think some libertarians would have probably said that, dude.
Oh yeah, many. And that's a problem with libertarianism, is that a lot of libertarians are quite radical, and they're almost like anarcho-capitalists, right?
Yeah.
And obviously anarcho-capitalism is not very good. I mean, I'm definitely more, I believe in government, small government, but I do believe that we need a government. Like, anarchy is ridiculousness. That's absurdity.
Oh, exactly. No, that's the thing. Anarchy can never work. Anarchy has never and will never work because it would require somebody, some big strong man, to come and take the power.
Right, exactly, and that's always what it results in. No, you're good, Johnson. No worries.
Yeah, you're good. You good. Do you been the streamer on your thing?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Okay, now, Andrew, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I sort of had two issues on the docket. The one was what we had talked about yesterday, which was, can socialism ever work in America? And I have a few points that I've researched that I want to talk about on that. And then the other one was I wanted to have sort of a discussion on climate change as well.
Okay, fine. You know what? Give me.
Oh,
I'm more than cool with that. Just give me 30 seconds to open the window.
Okay.
While Mr. Johnson will introduce himself and his viewpoint.
Go ahead.
All right, yeah. So I am Mr. Johnson. Yeah, I'm a friend of Ali's. We are both, I guess. We're not leaning towards any sides. Essentially, like, we just think about issues around the world and try to think of it from a logical standpoint. Find the reasoning behind it, and the reason of the reaction behind any sort of legislation towards those issues, and we try to basically discuss it and see if something could have been done better, what we think about it, whether the approach was right, stuff like that. But I'm neither libertarian nor right wing. I think both sides have valid arguments, and both sides are good to a certain degree. And so I think the most important thing is finding the best ideals and plans from both sides and applying it in a system where it's unbiased politically, so that the political agendas of individuals and powerful individuals around the world, whether they have influence, money, does not dictate how people within lower classes live and their livelihood. So I think that's really important, and it's important to have civil discussions on this stuff if we want to maintain that democratic framework in our society. So
Okay.
I think every opinion matters for sure.
Oh no, of course. Yeah, thank you for that. Well, yeah, and listen, I simply call myself a liberal Trump supporter. That's what I say. I have a lot of socially liberal views, but I'm a Trump supporter. Trump 2020. But I also, if I was in a state in America with a lot of like libertarian or even Green Party voters, I would actually vote third party, because I do believe you do need some members in Congress that aren't Democrat or Republican. We should definitely break this two-party lock.
I mean, yeah, right, and that's why it's so important to vote third party, is because you vote with your vote essentially, right? And like that's the one reason. If you oppose a two-party system, I believe it's your civic duty to vote a third party. If you don't want either candidate, go and vote for a third party. Then that's what I say. That's why.
So what is the state of America's political system? So I mean, there's two major players, obviously, two major parties, but are there, I guess, smaller representations? Obviously, they don't get enough vote, but do other parties get some sort of a representation in within the legislation and the system, or are they basically just cut out until they become some sort of a minority or majority?
I can speak to this.
You know what? You go ahead and answer that. Well, I'm gonna pull up a link just to show him there are other members right now.
Yes, there are other parties. I think based on the man, I forget the name of the affiliated, like the people that do it's the same people that do the presidential committee on debates and all that. They define a major party as a party that gets 5% of the vote or more.
Okay,
Under that definition, libertarians and independents, well, not so much independent, they get about 2 to 3%. But libertarians are a major party in America on that definition. Usually we get about 5% or more of the vote.
Right. Okay. So there is some representation within the legislative system that they do put in their votes, but obviously since they're the really small minority, the vote doesn't really put anything into effect.
Well, we have Justin Amash, and we had Rand Paul for a long time. We have Ron Paul now, who's also a libertarian. And that's about it in terms of major players.
Here you go. In your Senate, currently 45 members of the Senate are Democratic and 53 are Republican.
Okay.
And all of these seats are up for grab in 2020 election. And 2 of them are independent.
Right. Okay.
And then in the House, though, there's 232 Democratic, 197 Republican, but 1 Libertarian.
This is actually Justin Amash.
Justin Amash is. I have a very strong love-hate relationship with Amash. I strongly respect him for having the balls to literally. He left the Republican Party.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, if you work for the mainstream media and you hear someone leaves the Republican Party, you're going to be like, yo, this guy left the Republican Party. Look how terrible Trump is, blah, blah, blah. And then Amash actually ends up joining Libertarian Party. He doesn't do it to Democrats. Because he says Democrats are actually, I don't want to misquote him, but I'm pretty sure he said Democrats are worse, but he does not respect the current spending of the Republican Party, which I have tremendous respect for because he's a man of principle. The truth is, he's right, though. Republicans tend to say, we want to lower taxes and lower spending. They did one of those 2 things. They did one. They only lowered taxes. Democrats say they want to increase spending and increase taxes. So obviously, libertarians are going to be like, no, no. Libertarians are actually the ones who are going to say we want to lower spending and lower taxes, and
lower government.
Well, yeah, and he's sticking to his principles. He's literally doing that. So, I think Trump did follow on the lower the taxes part, and yeah, unfortunately, he didn't lower spending, but at least he lowered taxes. But at least, honestly, libertarians. I would love a future in America where it's libertarians versus Republicans.
I would love it.
Yeah. The thing is, two-party is inevitable. It is in every country in the world.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I think you could have a real third party. I mean,
let me tell you something. Canada has a third party. Okay.
Well, so does Britain.
Yeah. Except the closest Canada's third party got to power was they were the official opposition in like 2008, I think. And that's the thing. So our third party has never actually gained power, but they have at one point gotten a power to be.
But they're more well represented than the third party in America.
Oh, that's very true. Yes. But I'm saying the two-party system is inevitable. You can never, in every country in the world, you can't have a third party ever win.
Well, I think it does go back to the fact that, you know, the two major parties in any sort of system or country will always have the financial ability to advertise and push their own ideologies through media. And there's lots of medias that will align with their views. And so they'll do it for them because there's something in there for them as well. So until people are aware of that third party's, I guess, goals, plans, which they usually aren't, they usually don't even have the time to look it up. They are not really exposed to that alternative.
Well, and that's why it's so important to vote Libertarian Party, because if we get 5% of the vote, we get like $50 million from the government or something like that. So we can start that advertising campaign in 2024 and potentially get a third party in the presidential seat.
Right. Okay. Here's the thing, though. This is why the power of Congress is very important. I don't ever think a third party will ever win in Canada, US, maybe in UK. I'll tell you why in the UK. UK, something else happened. UK, a third party could win, but in Canada and US, the reason I don't think it's ever going to happen is because, yeah, even Cena just said they have too much financial backing already. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't vote third party, because in a parliamentary system, third parties could actually push legislation, and their seat numbers could actually have other bills get passed. This is Canada, just so you know, in 2011. Our third party, the NDP, actually became the official opposition. And look, they got 103 seats. They were the official opposition. This was huge news. And everybody in Canada actually loves Jack Layton, even conservatives, even though this guy's like quite leftist. He died of cancer, but also like he was a very good, moderate leftist. I know that's hard to believe nowadays, but it's like he actually believed in some limit. He, I think, is friends with the guy that I told you about, Andrew. That guy said, if we ever raise the taxes to above 50, that's too much. Like, he even says we should always stop at 50 because we don't want to take more than half of somebody's labor. So literally, a leftist who says we should stop at 50. That's, yeah, I know. Today, that sounds impossible.
I mean, that's respectable, but it's still not good enough. 50 is way too much.
Oh, I agree it's too much, but at least he said, let's stop. Have you heard a leftist say, oh, guys, let's stop at 85% tax rate? Can we stop at 85? No.
Yeah, that's like, crazy.
They can't even admit they want to stop at 85%. They can't even admit that.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Well, you see, their ideals of raising taxes are mostly geared and targeted towards the upper class. So the class of society that is making more money, has higher income, is already probably paying taxes to a certain degree at a higher rate. And I don't think that's healthy either. I don't think it's realistic either, because obviously that's not your only source of tax. There's millions of other people around the United States that are paying taxes, and put together, their tax return will probably be higher than that 1% that is paying a higher percentage of tax. Aside from that, it's also really taken away the incentive of having investments, just individual financial investments in the U.S. By doing that, where it just pushes that 1% out, into other countries, right? So
No,
I don't think it's realistic either. Yeah.
No, of course.
It also disincentivizes business owners from starting business.
Exactly.
No, I know.
When they're getting taxed at 70%.
Guys, listen. I'm an investor myself. I invest in American stocks because Canada is recently going to introduce more taxes on investors. So you could literally be poor, but if you have like $1 in stocks, they're going to tax you for that. Like Canada's entering a really stupid phase right now. So I agree with you that I'm just saying the good thing is at least he has a limit. That's it. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying he has a limit. Jesus Christ. Stop attacking me. I'm just saying he has a limit. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're not trying to attack you.
No, because Cena's telling me, oh, that's going to encourage companies to go to. I'm like, yeah, I know it's going to encourage rich people to go to other countries. I agree with that. But I'm just saying, like, that was cool about him is at least he's the one leftist I've ever met in my life who's at least wanted to stop at 50. If we can get AOC,
right? Yeah, I understand.
AOC
the thing is,
stop at 85, I'll be happy. If AOC will ever admit to stopping at 85, I'll be happy. But she's never going to do that. She'll probably want 99 one day.
God. Well, and this is the thing. I think we talked about this on the stream yesterday, but which I probably don't even need to reiterate it, but we have some new viewers. AOC always talks about the 1950s, right? And when we had economic prosperity and businesses were growing and we had low unemployment and all this. She points towards the 90% marginal tax rate, which was true, but no one actually paid 90% tax, not even close. They paid more like 15 to 20% tax because there were so many loopholes. There were so many deductions. Nobody actually paid 90% tax. And the reason the economy flourished was because it was actually low tax, not high tax. It was high tax on paper, but it was low tax in reality, right? So
right.
That's actually something I learned yesterday because I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true. No one paid 90% marginal tax rate, not even close.
Right.
You should actually read Mackenzie's comment.
People that point towards the U.S.'s past during its boom do not realize that same market economy isn't there anymore. It's stabilized. So the U.S. has been through its boom. Maybe it could have afforded to even roll out such a legislation before, but at this point where it's a stable economy, it's hard to implement. Maybe during the time, and I mean, you guys know this better than me, when the U.S. was booming, it was post-war, and so a lot of countries depended on the U.S. for production, right? And so that increased their economic GDP and their overall growth. But at this point, they have stabilized the market. So yes,
no one paid that 90% marginal tax rate. It's the economy boomed because there was low taxes, not on paper but in practice.
Right. I'm just saying it's not as viable anymore, at least for the stabilized economy, which is the U.S. If you were to talk about somewhere like China, where now they are going through their boom, and I guess they've entered their post-boom era as well, to a certain degree, just maybe enforced by the U.S. tariffs. Maybe, yeah, it's plausible, but somewhere in the U.S., unfortunately not. Yeah.
Well,
no, you want to go? No, if you want to respond to that, go ahead. I just wanted to say after that, please let's respond to Mackenzie's comment because I actually want to say something important about that.
Right. Okay.
Let me respond to that real quick. The reason I don't agree with that is because of automation and AI. So we're entering the sphere, like the sort of era of AI and automation, and we can use those technologies to create another economic boom. In fact, it's already actually happening.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we're our economic boom in the 1950s. That's true. But
wait. Sina, you're breathing. Sina, you're breathing into the mic.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah. There you go.
No, you're good. But that's all I wanted to say is that basically with new technologies that are coming out, we're about to enter. We are entering. In fact, we already have entered a new economic boom.
Yes and no. I think we're.
Wait, no, stop, please.
Okay.
Just save your thought, write it down. So we got to move on.
Okay,
because I think the purpose of two-party system is valuable, but a third party would definitely introduce more central space. Okay, here's the thing. It is valuable. I don't even think we need a third party. I just think we need more seats with members of third parties, just so like like, here's a cool thing. Whenever there's I would love to see this. Whenever there's a deadlock between the Democrats and Republicans, I would love to see some members
Oh, you're lagging.
of I'm lagging with members of
No, you're good now.
like okay, no, because I'm looking at the stream, I'm not lagging, but I want like someone like a libertarian, people with libertarian seats or even Green Party seats. I hate the Green Party, but still I want them to break that deadlock because I am getting tired of this two-party mumbo jumbo. So another thing I wanted to say is I don't think just having more voters is going to make things better. To me, is like as long as we have more informed voters. That's why I said if we have more voters above the age of 25, yeah, I think that that would bring us to a better solution. But some people like to say, oh, if everybody votes, it'll be better. No, you're going to have a lot of young, stupid, naive people vote, and they're so easily swayed. That's one of the things I greatly respect about Mackenzie is that she's 18, but she still is the one person who's questioning this agendas, because the left, let me tell you, in Canada, our leftist party actually wants to lower the voting age, and that pretty much shows they know it's easier to convince the younger people to vote for you. So no, just because having more voters, I don't think it's going to help us find a better solution to any problem. Just more people voting. By that logic, let's have a global election for America.
No, I agree with that. But if we could, I don't want to pivot, but if we could focus the discussion on socialism in America, because that was the original thing for it, if you're down.
Sure, if you wanted to go to that.
Because I had a few points that I researched that I'd like to touch on.
Okay. So to catch you guys up, the basic idea is that everyone says socialism always leads to tyranny, genocide, and war, and losing freedoms. So the argument is, when people say, oh, which country socialism works in? Everyone says, oh, no, well, no country. But I heard socialism can only work in America because America has a constitutional right to free speech and to bear arms. That's why the first country in human history that socialism will work in is the United States of America. That's not my argument, but I just heard, I think this is a fascinating argument. That's why I wanted to say this. Because this is the first time I heard a socialist use American patriotism as a good thing. Because usually socialists hate America, but go ahead.
Okay. So I want to touch on a few points that I had looked at. I don't know whoever watched the live stream yesterday, but I'll reiterate that point real quick, which is basically that within 8 years, you could achieve socialism within America, but it wouldn't, well, one, it wouldn't work because it would be centrally planned, and that's a problem. But and we'll get to that in a second. But you basically, what you'd have to do is get all the judges on your side, all the judicial system, and then get all the legislative system on your side, and then you could do it. But we'll move on from that. So traditional socialism is centrally planned, right? And there's a problem with centrally planning things, because what central planning does is it basically gets rid of the idea of market priceism. Sorry, Ali, did you want to say something? You look like you want to talk.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Because central planning gets rid of the idea of market priceism, and it gets rid of the idea of supply and demand, which is a problem because supply and demand and the capitalist version of market priceism is what literally enables the proper price of goods and services and labor. If you're centrally planning things, that agency has no idea what the proper price for a good or a service is based on. They just arbitrarily decide it, which is why under centralist planned socialist economies, you have massive shortages of food, of water, of housing, of basic resources, because one, they're either too expensive or they're way too cheap. Yes. And everyone either buys them up because they're way too cheap, or they don't buy them at all because they're too expensive. And you get these shortages. So you need that system of market pricism and market valuation data to be able to determine a fair price for things and to figure out what is scarce in the market and what isn't. That's essentially the main problem with socialism, is that it doesn't take into account it doesn't take into account incentives and market priceism, basically, because the only fair way to determine a price is what someone is willing to pay for it. And the only way you know that is through market valuation data in the form of supply and demand. That's the main problem with socialism. That was my spiel. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, no, but okay. Everything you said is about the economy, though. I'm talking about, you still don't counter their point. They're saying that the U.S. will be the first country in history that's going to be socialist, and they won't get rid of free speech.
Again, I don't agree with that because sorry, actually, go ahead, Big Johnson. You haven't talked in a minute. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm just listening for now. I'll put in my 2 cents later.
But no, I don't agree with that either, because the second a country becomes socialist, they're on a fast track for a central planning system. We've seen that. That'll happen in America too, because if America is a socialist country, they're not going to keep their individual freedom of speech. They're not going to keep gun laws and all this stuff, because that gives power to people who oppose the system. In order for the system to work, everyone must support the state, right? So in order for that to work, you have to take away free speech, you have to take away rights, and that's why you see that historically in every socialist country.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. I do see that. I think you're totally right about that, because I could see states, particularly in the Midwest. Literally, have you seen all the states from Texas all the way to Canada? All the states like that. All of them could probably try to, like, even the South, actually, all of them could try to secede from the Union. And you're right. Then the government would have to, take away their rights.
Exactly.
The biggest thing that worries me about a centralized government, whether it is socialism, communism, fascism, these governments take away all the means of fighting back, especially for demographics that are suppressed based on ideologies of the system. This takes away the means. Whether you're talking about healthcare, whether you're talking about food production and resources, the government has a lot of power to counteract its opposing force as far as its demographic goes. So, and that at an individual level gets really enforced. That's where you see stuff in China, where people that are opposing to the government and their views, and they post about it, they share their ideas online. That is where individual suppression comes in, where then there are agencies designated to deal with that social aspect of it. And so these agencies will maintain power by taking away the individual, and whether it is through violence and suppression, or take away their power within the society in order to enforce that incentive of be with the system and agree with it. So I think as far as that goes, it's very dangerous for society. I think especially for a free marketplace like the US, which has already established its success in a free market capitalist idea, it would be really hard to change that, especially demographically as well. Not many people will easily take that change, and it will definitely hurt the economy as well. I don't want to get into that. Obviously, Andrew got into it and really brought up some good points. But it hurts more than it hurts, or sorry, it hurts more than it helps in the end.
Yeah, I agree completely. And that's the thing, is that if you have a socialist economy, it doesn't matter whether in fact, most socialism around the world has been established on a let's make the people free, egalitarian type idea, and it's always resulted in a totalitarian state. And that's because socialism does not function unless everyone works to support the state, and that premise requires a loss of rights. Yes,
100%. It requires, I guess, some sort of a generational indoctrination. And I mean, thus far, we already have indoctrination in our schools that really mostly enforces a lot of or pushes a lot of leftist beliefs, which I think that's an issue in and of itself. But overall, yes, it would cause a lot more issues. It wouldn't be healthy for an economy like the U.S., not just the U.S., but also its allies as well. Obviously, the U.S. does gain most of its economic power through those trades with its allies that are also very rich and powerful countries, whether it's Europe, whether it's North America, elsewhere. these are important, and they wouldn't change that. They wouldn't like that change either.
Well, China might, but other than that,
Yeah, China, 100%.
Actually, speaking of China, I feel like we keep China alive, man. We keep like the thing is people.
China keeps us alive.
No, it's the other way around. Like the funny thing is, the West tried to they were like, oh, let's open trade with China just to fight the Soviets. But the funny thing is, it's literally our capitalism that kept China alive. Like, if we literally stopped trading with China, just like we did with the Soviets, yeah, we could have destroyed their economies, and we wouldn't be facing big boy China
Yeah,
right
but there's
now.
a good reason why we don't do that. Is because a lot of our goods come from China, and if everything was American made, I guarantee you it would be way more expensive. That's the only reason we don't do that.
That's how it is now. But I'm saying back in the 80s and 70s, we shouldn't have open trade with China in the first place. We should have.
Sure.
I think that was also planned as well by the U.S. And I think it was planned. Obviously, it kind of backfired to a certain degree, but it did its job as well, because within the area, China was communist. It was an established communist party, leading party. So in that sense, I guess it was that sort of create the tension between another powerful country with Russia that is also regional, so that they also have this competitive edge on each other within the regional affairs. So, for example, right now we see that China is trying to claim many Central Asian countries, such as Kazakhstan, such as there was another one.
all the South China Sea.
Yes, and that's created tension between Russia and China too. Yeah.
Oh no, China's.
So I think that was important.
Yeah,
I think that was one thing they tried to achieve. Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, maybe next week's live stream should just be purely about China, because China is a whole crazy beast by itself.
It is.
But anyway, just seriously, thank you, Johnson, for coming.
Thank you, boys.
We might have you on next week. The main thing is you can expect me and Andrew every week at 7:30 or even 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification bell, and I think somebody in the comments, there was a lot of comments today. I'm sorry, you guys are having a whole debate by yourself in the comments. We ignored it.
Are they really?
There was also somebody who wanted to, somebody who I think might have said like, where's the girl? Like usually I have a female co-host, but no, I'm trying to get all the gay viewers. That's why I brought Andrew.
Shut up.
But don't worry, we'll try to have a third female guest just for you horny bastards.
You should get Mackenzie in here, honestly.
Yeah, no, as long as Mackenzie dresses up, yeah.
Jeez. Really selling the sex here. Great.
Oh my god.
You're on the path to success.
Read what she wrote. She did say it would. I mean, the thing is, the teachers, I don't even think we should make political ideology a requirement to be a teacher.
I don't either.
The main issue is free speech should be enforced in the universities. I think the government should actually step in and make sure nobody, because this is the thing, and maybe the capitalists are going to hate me for this, but usually capitalists want more privatized schools anyways. But no, I think when it comes to free speech, I'm not saying the government should put regulations. I mean, okay, I guess free speech is a regulation. I think free speech should be enforced. Well, even in Canada, free speech should be enforced. Well, in Canada, it should be enforced. You should make sure that universities have free speech. And the issue is professors should never, ever have the power to fail you because of your views. Or not fail, just even, not even, what am I saying fail? Just kick you out of the school for your views. That should be enforced. That's the one time. Normally,
that's hard to prove, though. There's a problem with that because it's difficult to prove that a professor failed you because of your idea, because of your.
No, you're right. No, you're right. That's why I said it should be on the table, just so that professors wouldn't do it. And if there's proof, then we can easily fire the professors.
Well, but there's not usually proof. That's the problem with that.
Dude, the main issue is that, listen, if you talked to me about this like 4 years ago and you said, oh, if we should put regulations on social media to enforce free speech, I'd be like, no, that's terrible. Let the social media, it's a private company. But now, I'm sorry, the shit I've seen Google and Facebook and not Twitter. Twitter is actually a little bit more free speech than people realize.
No, absolutely not.
But no. Twitter is a little bit more. But Facebook and Google are very, very suppressive. 4 years ago, I would have said, no, forget it. We'll just make our own company. But now I realize, no, Facebook and Google are way too powerful. The government should step in and enforce free speech into these companies, because this isn't, I'm sorry, my libertarian friends. I know it's like, oh, we'll just make your own company, make your own. No, I'm sorry. These are way too freaking powerful companies. They're controlling the public square. They're controlling the public square. Like, yeah, 200 years ago, the government wasn't allowed to stop you from speaking freely in the public square. But now the public square is Facebook, and Facebook is stopping you.
Look, I actually somewhat agree with you. I don't agree completely, but
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised.
I do think it comes down to the issue of whether social media companies are platforms or whether they're publishers. If they are, right, if they are publishers, then they should have the right to do whatever they want. If they're platforms, then yes, they should be regulated by government. We need some legislation on this. There hasn't really been any legislation on the social media, and if we define them as platforms, then yes, the government should be able to come in and regulate free speech. If they're publishers, then they shouldn't be able to. That's basically my view on it.
Well, I mean, oh, okay. So you're saying like if a bank company bans you for being conservative, that's obviously against the law, because it's a bank company. But wait, no, sorry. Are you saying the opposite way of that? Like if a telephone company bans you for being conservative, that's against the law?
That is against the law, as it should be.
So because publishers can't do
providing a public service. They're not a private publishing company.
Oh, let me wait. I want to understand this.
No. I'll give you an example. So what you say on the telephone, if you're on a phone call, right? What you say on the telephone is not the private property of the company that that you have your telephone service with. They're not a publisher of what you say on their service.
Oh,
okay. That's what I'm saying. Is Facebook a publisher of what you post on their site, or are they just simply a platform, like Twitter, for example?
I think the issue with that is it's hard to distinguish between the two, because at this point it's like saying, is TV a platform or is it a publisher? Well, it's both. It's essentially, first of all, it's a platform, right? Where publishers can come on and publish whatever they want, whatever content they want on the platform. And so what it comes down to is, first of all, categorizing that content, as in whether it's political or is it just entertainment, isn't just purely based on individual social life. That all matters. That aside, you also need to have that regulation that forces companies to establish whether their views are aligning with most of their demographic or not. They should have that. It's just like that fact check setting or option that they've introduced to Instagram. But instead of that, that's
Orwellian.
Who is this? Yes, who is this publisher? What are they trying to publish? Like, what is it leaning towards, so that people can make their own decision based on the platforms. I don't think you can just regulate the companies and be like, you can't post political stuff, or like you can't do crazy like radical extremist ideas or publish those on your platform. I think
that's still free speech though, right? If Facebook is a platform, right, then you should be able to post whatever you want on there. You should be able to be a Nazi on Facebook if you want to. It's free speech. You can be a Nazi if you want to. Not that it's a good idea to be one.
Yes.
But if Facebook is a platform, then you should be able to post your racist, Nazi, ethno-state stuff on there and not be banned.
Okay, wait.
Facebook doesn't own your post.
Okay, this is going to shock you, but I think if a telephone company wants to ban you for being conservative, I think they should be allowed to. Here's the thing, because I'm like, okay, I'll just go to a different cell phone company.
Yes. Yeah.
Publishers, though, the problem is cell phones and bank accounts. Like, honestly, I'm 100% okay with bank accounts. If my bank account says, "Oh, Alex, I found out you support Trump, you're banned." I'm like, okay, sure, that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. In fact, I'm okay.
Lose your money.
Well, obviously, okay, yeah, that they're stealing my money. Obviously, they're not going to keep my money.
Right.
Obviously, if the bank account shouldn't keep your money. Anyway, my issue with stuff like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, like any social media, is the public square. Listen, the founding fathers. I doubt the founding fathers ever would have predicted we have a website like Facebook or anything. But I'm sure they were smart enough to know, like, listen, we have a public square, but I'm sure one day in the future there's going to be a more telecommunicative public square with, like, I don't know, maybe I'm sure they would have thought. I'm sure they would have seen TV coming. You know what I mean? Like maybe just they said. So the problem is the public square. I love that quote so much. The public square is something that matters to me the most. Your bank account, your telephone service provider, even your internet service provider is not the public square. You know what I mean? But having a Facebook account, that is about, dude, a homeless person can have a Facebook account. In Canada and in America, like there's many restaurants, fast food restaurants with free Wi-Fi. And so I don't need to own a house just for me to own one cell phone. I can go to a restaurant and just connect to the Wi-Fi and I'm in the public square. That is, I take that way more seriously than a regular cell phone or internet service provider company. I think that's why.
I agree. Yeah. But
so you agree, actually? You agree? Wait, no, you agree that it's okay for cell phone companies to ban you just because you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, me too.
That's their right as a private company. They can do what they want.
Amen.
Yes. But Facebook should not be able to ban you for being a radical because of the public square. You're in the public space, meaning, like, I'm firmly on the side that Facebook, for example, or Twitter or YouTube or whatever, they're all in the public square. They're all platforms. They're not individual private publishers. They're platforms. So I think that the government should be able to come in and force Facebook to not ban people, for instance.
Yeah, no, 100% with you on that. I'm surprised we agree, and because that's one of the things I told you about libertarians. Some libertarians would be like, no, I don't care. Facebook should be able to ban you even if you were black.
Right. I don't agree with that. Because it's a public forum.
Exactly.
This is something I disagree with a lot of libertarians on. Like, again, you know me, I'm like a moderate to leftist libertarian. But so
I would never call you leftist. I love you and respect you too much to call you a leftist. But go ahead.
Well, fair enough. But a moderate libertarian. I'm not like far right libertarian at all.
Right.
So no, I agree with you completely on that, actually.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because this all goes back to the gay bakery shop. Is like, I
remember that. Yeah,
exactly. And also it's their stupidity is like, listen, like if you don't want to make some money off some gay people getting married, because wedding cakes are expensive, man.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so if you don't want to make a wedding cake for a gay couple because of your belief, that's your right. But it's also I'm like that's your stupidity because you just missed on like $500 worth of wedding cake or more, maybe $5,000 worth of wedding cake. So like that again, that's your right. That's your personal. There's no control. It's like I would just hate it if the government says, "Oh, you're gay. You're not allowed to come to this government building." I'm like, no, what the hell? That's terrible.
Yes.
Like that's the main issue. And the public square argument is so valuable because Facebook is not a member of government. They were never elected. They never got that power. They earned it. I'm not saying let's kill Facebook. They earned that. The guy, he built a social media. I mean, if you saw the movie Social Network, the guy did. He was a socially awkward guy. I mean, he's literally a nerd who got rejected by all the girls, and now owns.
He's reptilian. Get it right.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh God, the reptilian.
Sorry, we're not a conspiracy theorist server.
Damn, I wish you guys were. I got a whole lot to say, but
we'll add that section.
No, we can make a conspiracy theorist channel for you.
Yeah, that would be great. Fuck yeah.
I think we used to have one actually.
Oh, we might have. Yeah, we'll add that. Actually, sorry, Mackenzie. Your comments come a little bit late on my end. I don't know which view you said. I love that view, Andrew. I think it's amazing described it. Well, that's my view. Why don't you love my view? I said that. He agrees with me. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know what she's referring to specifically, but
so Mackenzie's racist. Anyway, so no, that's a joke. That's a joke. Yo, watch this stream. Like, I know it's only 6 views now, but watch like 10 years from now, people just watch our old streams and then be like, Mackenzie Barrett is racist? Oh my God. And then
they dox her. I hate how that's a thing now. It's like people feel the need to have to like really do something and be reactionary, like on a different level towards somebody else that has opposing views, right? That doesn't agree with them. And I hate that.
No,
I think that's ridiculous. It's come with cancel culture.
No, but
I'd
I
much
think we're
rather
past
have
that.
a productive discussion.
No, I agree with that. Oh, Mackenzie said it was about the media being a publisher. Mackenzie, comment on the stream. Don't send it on the Discord. Anyway, honestly though, don't worry about the social, the cancel culture, because trust me, by the time we're 40, it's not going to affect us that much. At least I hope so, because right now,
by the time
I saw.
I hope to be retired, sitting in a fucking garden, man.
Oh yeah, dude. The thing is, Tim Pool said 2020 Trump might lose, but 2024 the establishment will lose, unless they ban unless they censor everybody. And I think he's right. The establishment is already dying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like right now, and actually feminism. Oh, I'm so happy. This is gonna. We'll save this for a different stream, but I think feminists are just. I look at feminists the same way I look at Nazis. I actually think I know feminists don't kill as much as Nazis. Well, if you count abortion, they do. But no, I see feminists as just as bad as Nazis, and we can save that for later. And right now, besides Canada, there's no country with a feminist politician. Well, no Western country. All Western country, like feminism is. Thank God, it's finally like dying, except for Canada.
Hey, Germany's out there still with Angela Merkel, so
she I don't think she supports feminism. I think she might have
I'm sure she does. She's super leftist.
Merkel does not support. There's no way she does.
No. Merkel, and also Merkel reads the room. Merkel is a she's definitely a globalist, but not a feminist. She knows.
Yes, but she'll definitely push the feminist ideologies and their beliefs, because that is also a demographic that she wants to tap into as far as votes too. So just because of the fact that they would vote for her if she pulls that card. Same thing with Hillary. Like nobody's saying that she's definitely a feminist and that's what she's riding, but that is a wave that they ride in order to just boost up their vote numbers, right? And many people do fall for it. They do vote just because she's a female, right? So
Oh no. We'll get to that later. And yeah. For Hillary's done, dude. I promise you. Listen, I'm saying this now before we end the stream. If Hillary ever becomes president of America, I will donate $10,000 to a charity of your choice. Okay, of the people subscribe. Okay.
Oh,
Hillary will never.
She's not going to run for president again. I'd be surprised.
Not even president. Or oh God, Hillary as a judicial judge.
Yeah,
that's even worse.
Let me puke my guts out real quick.
Hillary, I'm saying it right now. If Hillary ever becomes president or a judge or governor of any state, I will donate $10,000 to any charity chosen by you guys. Thank you for watching. Andrew, you want to say some final thoughts?